Hi guys, it is Aoife from Words of Clover, and I am currently on my holidays up in Donegal, as where I always go basically. So I have the week off from work, and what better thing to do when you have a week off from work than go up, sit in front of a cozy fire, and read while it's raining outside. And that is exactly what I'm doing right now. So I said I might as well do a little bit of a reading vlog while I get cozy. And yeah, just enjoy all the cozy times and all the books that I can manage to fit in this week. My reading in November has been probably a little bit slower than I would have liked maybe. So I'm hoping I can kind of catch up and read as much as I can this week. So yeah. So I am currently reading Eragon by Christopher Paolini. This is a reread for me. I read this years ago when it first came out, and myself and my brother really, really loved the Eragon series. So I'm very excited to reread this, and this is obviously in anticipation to read the new book that Christopher Paolini has brought out within the Eragon universe, and it's takes place a few years after the last book in this series. So I'm really excited to read that. So I said it's been so long since I read the original four books that I wanted to reread them. So that is what I'm doing now with Eragon, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's very funny going back and reading this now and seeing kind of the writing style. I've obviously read a lot more fantasy books than when I first started reading Eragon, and the writing in this is definitely a little bit on the simpler side. And I know obviously Christopher Paolini was really young when he first wrote this as well, so that's kind of just an interesting observation. It doesn't take away from the book. It kind of in a way it makes makes me feel a little bit more nostalgic even about the series, that it is that little bit of simpler writing, but in terms of the audience it was intended for when this originally came out, I think it's perfect. And this was always a lovely series, I think, to introduce a lot of readers to the fantasy genre as well. And there's obviously a lot of inspiration taken from this as well, from Lord of the Rings and Tolkien and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm just enjoying this. I'm only about 50 pages in, so I'm hoping to get a good bit, maybe 100 to 200 pages read tonight. And I'm just really enjoying. I'm really happy that I'm reading this again, and I'm just happy to go on this journey with Eragon and Saphira again, because it's been so long since I have read about them. So yeah, I will update you guys with how I go. Hi guys, as you can see, I am on the beach doing a dog walk, trying to get all the energy out. They did have a walk yesterday, so they have a lot of energy. So I just said I would do a very quick book check-in, reading check-in. So I've gotten 250 pages into Eragon, so pretty much exactly halfway through. And again, still really, really enjoying it. Just enjoy seeing all the different parts that I've forgotten about, the different cities that they've gone in the first part of their journey. Kind of the growing relationship with Saphira and Eragon that I always really enjoy, because Eragon and Saphira I feel are god tier when it comes to Dragon Rider relationships and how Dragon Rider bond works. That's my favourite type of Dragon Rider bonding that Eragon and Saphira have. So I really enjoy seeing that and seeing how it grows. And I watched actually the movie Eragon over the summer, and it's a fine movie. It's not a terrible movie. It's sad that there never was future movies, because I didn't hate it, but there's definitely a big part of their training and Saphira's growth and Saphira's development as a dragon that's really missed out on. And there's so many things that are skipped over in that movie, that reading this book now that I've remembered again, and I'm really enjoying revisiting all of that. And yeah, seeing this book and seeing all the characters and stuff, Angela and Solemn and who are this witch and werecat, and obviously Brom and Myrta will come into it further along, and Arya. It's genuinely just meeting old friends again, which I really, really enjoy. And yeah, there's just so much fun in terms of rereading an old favourite. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. So I'm going to continue on with my walk. And when I get home, I'm not sure what I'll do. Maybe have a little bit of lunch, and I don't know whether I'll read for a while or potentially do a bit of reading numbers or tape and listen to my audiobook. I actually forgot to mention yesterday actually that on my, so it takes 4 hours from Dublin to Donegal. It takes 4 hours from Dublin to Donegal to drive. So that's obviously what I was driving yesterday. And normally I do actually just listen to music, but yesterday for some reason I was just in the mood to listen to an audiobook, so that's what I did. So I started listening to You Love Me by Kepnes, which is the third book in like the You series, and I have gotten about almost halfway through that now. I read about 3 or 4 hours. So again, yeah, really enjoying that one. The only thing about this one is, well, now that we're halfway through, things have changed. But the one thing I did feel about it is that in the end of the second book, Hidden Bodies, there was things that happened to Joe where you felt like, okay, he's finally like, his past is finally catching up with him and he's kind of like done for now. Like he's not going to be able to get out of this. Then at the start of because I feel like there was only ever supposed to be 2 books, and then obviously the television series happened and it got popular, so I think Caroline Kepnes said, well, we'll just like continue on, and like her publishers, they say, we're like, we'll continue on with the momentum like while the popularity is there to bring out more books. So the third book starts and we kind of quickly kind of get like a very sparse detailing of how he's ended up where he is now, how he kind of got out of what he was in at the end of the second book. And I kind of felt like it was very kind of weak in a way that I was like, I just felt like there was no way he was going to be able to get away with what he did with what happened at the end of the second book. Like, there was so much stacked up against him, there was so much like evidence in a way. It's like, how can that suddenly just be all erased? Like, there was an element of like money and money being thrown at a problem, but even with that I was like, I don't know, it feels like a little bit of a stretch. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel with that. But in terms of, and then like up until the point where I am at the moment, it kind of felt very repetitive of book 1, in terms of the object of desire, the kind of the annoying friend that like is in his way, the annoying love interest that's in his way, and him having to try and figure out like obviously how to get rid of them. But where I am at the point, something has happened that is like different to anything else that's happened, so I'm really interested to see what happens there. So I don't know how much of it I will read for today or the rest of the trip. I might wait till I'm on my way home, I'm not sure, but maybe if I'm doing a bit of paint by numbers, I will probably end up listening to a little bit of it at some point. So that is that. So I'm going to get on my walk because the dogs are staring at me being like, why aren't we moving? And I'll catch up with you guys later. Hi guys, another day, another beach, obviously, as you can see from behind me, on another dog walk. And sure, while I have the different backgrounds, I might as well update. So I am close to 400 pages into Eragon now, so I'll probably finish it today. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. I don't have much of an update. I mean, this is obviously a reread, so in terms of like surprises, twists, things like that, I don't have, I already know everything that's kind of going to happen, though it has been so long since I've read the series, so there are some bits that, like as I've said yesterday, that I've forgotten. And it was just nice, like the amount of kind of traveling that was in the book. I kind of forgot how much traveling was in it, as well as how many different cities and towns they did actually stop over in. I'd kind of forgotten all of that, so it's really fun to kind of remember all of that. And we're kind of at just near the end where there's going to be like a big battle. We're kind of just before that, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that all plays out and like rereading those battle scenes again. Especially like battle scenes with dragons are always quite fun, so I'm looking forward to that. So I definitely feel like I'll probably finish the book today. So I don't know if it'll be like, I mean, this was always a 5 stars for me. I think in terms of like ratings, it's definitely I would give it a 5 stars again in terms of like, but one of those stars would definitely be for like nostalgia as well, more so than like the actual writing. I think like there's parts where the writing is quite weak, where things aren't maybe explained as well as they could be, or things are hinted at, or like there's things like like the right, like I do think the author had a really good idea of his world, how the magic worked and everything.
And like that's definitely explored more and developed a lot more in the later books, where in the first book some of it is still a little bit weak. So in terms of that, I don't think it would be like a 5 star now in terms of like other fantasy books I've read that are a lot more developed and like just more strongly written. But in terms of nostalgia, I think it kind of has to always be a 5 stars, because I just enjoy the world so much. I enjoy seeing the characters again. It was like one of the first books I ever read that really had proper dragon in it and like stuff around dragons that I loved. So yeah, in terms of that, it's probably going to be a 5 stars. So yeah, that's what I'm going to probably do when I get home. I'll probably do a little bit of reading. I did listen to a little bit more of my audiobook this morning while I did a little bit of paint by numbers. So I have done that. I might do a little bit more of that later. I don't know. And I'll finish Eragon. And then once I finish Eragon, I'll actually be going on to another reread, which is going to be Emma by Jane Austen. So it's been a long time again since I've read Emma by Jane Austen. It's one of my favourites. So I wanted to reread it again and see what I think of it a second time around and if I enjoy it just as much as I did the first time. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's probably going to be my next read. I don't know if I'll do a little bit of mix and match, because the book after that I have lined up is Legends and Lattes. So if I'm finding like I want a little bit of a break from kind of the more like the classic Jane Austen, like, and I want a little bit more cozy fantasy, I might read that alongside it and like see how that goes. But for now, the next book I will be reading will be Emma by Jane Austen. So yeah, and then my dad is going to come up to Donegal today at some point, so I'll have a little bit of company. But the two of us are obviously both into reading, so I can always do reading around him, and he'll read his book, and it'll be kind of a nice kind of reading cozy holiday. So yeah, I'll get back to these crazy dogs. Rossi is digging her holes around me, so I'll get back to them and get back to the house later, do a lot more reading, and I'll update you guys again when I have a little bit more to talk about.
So back in for an update. It is now Thursday and we are just cozy and reading and having a great time, and I wanted to update. I am 70, almost 80 pages into Emma now. This is going to be slow going, which I kind of presumed. I might pick up Legends and Lattes just to give a little bit of a break from the classic reading, which I do find I do need to take a little bit slower. So if I want to read the books I want to read, I might pick up Legends and Lattes and read them simultaneously. I don't know. But I am enjoying this. It is fun to get back into with Emma and her personality and seeing what she's like and her flaws. And because I feel like she's probably one of the most flawed characters of Jane Austen's, and I feel like she's someone a lot of people tend not to like. Though I do like her. I think she's quite fun. And yeah, I think she does have, I wouldn't say an amazing character growth by the end, but some character growth, which is nice. But I wanted to come on and do a book haul as well. There is like kind of like a library type of like book sale place down here, and you can get 5 books for €2. So me and my dad went in yesterday, and we can never walk out of there without having a few books. So I got a few books that I wanted to show you. So the first one I got is this Tunkerbo book, and it is Cushiel's Dart by Jacqueline Carey. This is a fantasy book, and it's one I don't know too much about, but I've heard really, really good things about this, and I think this is part of perhaps a trilogy. So I want to pick this up and see what it's like. I don't know whether this is the first one. I think this one is the first one, but yeah, this is one I might try and pick up next year as a little bit of a project. Like, it is quite chunky. How many pages is this? It is 1,000 pages. So yeah, it's a lot of reading in this, but looking forward to reading it. The next book I got was Half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. This one I haven't read. I have read Purple Hibiscus by this author. Haven't read this one, but I do love books written or set in Nigeria. I find Nigerian culture, Nigerian writing really, really compelling. It's just a place I love to read from. So looking forward to picking this one up. Then another one, I'm pretty sure I have this on my Kindle, but like, I mean, it was basically 50 cents, so I picked it up. And that is Longbourn by Joe Baker. And this is a little bit kind of like, it's kind of like a downstairs, upstairs type of novel, I think, where we're looking at like the servants of the big house and just like different goings on there. But I've heard really good things about this one, and it definitely feels like it's like right up my alley. And then the next one that I got is one kind of for a project ongoing. I've talked about it a couple of times in the last few months, so won't go on too much. But I want to try and read a Stephen King book at least every October for the next few years. So I just saw this, so I said I might as well pick it up and keep it for next year, for next October. And that's Finders Keepers by Stephen King. So yeah, just another Stephen King book to add to the collection, to the TBR. So yeah, I can just keep this one for next year and read it next year. And we got 2 Christmas books as well. So the Christmas Postcards by Karen Swan and Angels at Christmas by Debbie Macomber. This one, actually, the Christmas postcards, I actually have lined up for audiobook, so it's actually funny that my dad picked this one up, because it is my next audiobook that I want to read for like my Christmassy book. I always try and listen to a Karen Swan book every Christmas as well, as I really love her Christmas stories, and they're kind of like set around Christmas and have kind of like Christmassy like settings and stuff, like normally like kind of wintry settings, or like set around Christmas, but they're not like super duper Christmassy, so they are kind of the books you could read any time of the year, really. But she always has ones that come out around Christmas. So this one came out, I think, in 2020 maybe, or 2021. So yeah, this is one I actually have on my TBR to read. He Got the Final Hour by Taylor Caldwell. I don't know this author, but he said they're really good. Then The Heart's Invisible Furies by John Boyne. I actually just suggested this to my dad because I feel like he will really enjoy this one. Shopaholic and Sister by Sophie Kinsella. I have nothing really to say about that one. And then The Red Queen by Philippa Gregory. I have this one at home, but again, it'll be something my dad will really enjoy, so I suggested this one to him as well. So yeah, that is our book haul. That is how our reading is going, and I will update you guys tomorrow or when I have a little bit more of a reading update to do. Back in Dublin, as you can see, in my old place, and I just wanted to do a quick clip just to finish off this vlog. So I haven't finished Emma yet, but I am just over halfway through, and it took me a little bit to like get more into this, but now that I'm over halfway, I'm really enjoying it, kind of in with Emma's character and some of like the gossipy things that are going on in this book, and her relationship with Mr. Knightley, and then also Frank Churchill, who's kind of like a young man that she is kind of like has a friendship with, and the way they talk to each other, like about other people, and how Emma reacts to some other people that she doesn't like and talks about them, is very funny, and it's like very gossipy and stuff that I just like find very amusing. But yeah, there's loads of really great characters in this, and I do think like I do really like Emma as a character, even though she is like there's a lot of things that like aren't that great about her, but I think because she's so flawed is one of the reasons why I also do really like her. I'm really enjoying this, so I'm hopefully going to read a good bit more today, and get it finished during the week. But this will probably be like between a 4 to 5 stars for me. I say probably very strong 4 out of 5 stars, but keep an eye on my reviews to see what I actually do rate it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have read any of these books, please let me know what you guys are reading, what you guys got up to. I would love to know. And thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye.